Well, this is going to go down as one of the biggest data leaks of all time. 2.4 billion TikTok user records leaked online. So, a hacker claims to have 2.4 billion TikTok user records, including email addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth, usernames, and in some cases, full names and location data posted on a well known data leak forum. The data leak originates from InfoStealer malware, not a direct TikTok breach. Researchers found no specific markers tying the samples exclusively to TikTok, suggesting the records were harvested from infected devices and could be repackaged under TikTok's name to attract buyers. If any portion of the data is legitimate, users face phishing, vishing, and potential account takeovers. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what vishing is. Apparently, it's a blend of voice and phishing. So, voice phishing basically refers to fraudulent phone calls or voice messages. So, the threat actor published 10 sample records to support their claims. The samples contain sensitive user information, such as the things that we went over, gender information, stuff like that. Here's what it looks like over here. They said, "Hello, dark forums. On June 5th, 2026, we leaked the TikTok data. 2.4 billion user records, including email addresses and phone numbers. Total records, 2,461,892,091 records." Holy crap. The data appears to have been stolen and aggregated by InfoStealing malware. The InfoStealing malware is designed to harvest information directly from infected devices, collecting credentials, browser data, cookies, autofill entries, and other personal information. Large collections of InfoStealer logs could be repackaged and sold on underground markets under the branding of well-known companies to attract potential buyers, and the TikTok name really puts the bait. However, based on the information that the attackers provided, our team could not verify their claims. For one, the listing provides a download link that redirects to a private Telegram channel containing only a single member, offering little additional evidence regarding the size or authenticity of the alleged database. We cannot confirm there are billions of records in the leak, but the post headline is appealing to threat actors to say the least. So this has resulted in official class action lawsuits being taken place against TikTok. There's a 44-page TikTok data breach lawsuit that says that it was reported on June 11th that an internal TikTok database had been compromised in a cyber attack that allegedly exposed the private information of more than 2.4 billion users to cyber criminals. According to the complaint, TikTok collects and maintains this information for targeted advertising campaigns, which involve analyzing user behavior and interest to improve an in-app advertisement engagement. And TikTok has already been exposed a million times for harvesting the data of their TikTok has already been exposed a billion times for harvesting the data of the people that use their app. They are not exactly a very trustworthy company. ByteDance as a whole, or whatever the hell their company is called, they have already been exposed so many times for harvesting data. So given the sensitive nature of this information, TikTok, the suit argues, had a legal and equitable duty to implement reasonable cybersecurity safeguards to prevent unauthorized access. The complaint reiterates that this is something that TikTok even expresses in its privacy notices, which emphasize that privacy is a, quote, top priority, and that the company continually works to, quote, ensure strong protections are in place. Despite these representations, cybercriminals were able to successfully implement malware and extract users' private information, something that would not have occurred had TikTok implemented adequate security measures and followed industry standards, including guidance issued by the Federal Trade Commission. I don't like those guys at all. They are the ones that are pushing IDH verification all around the world. The case claims that TikTok knew or should have known that it was a likely target for a cyber attack due to the volume and sensitivity of the information it collects as part of its business. According to the complaint, the social media giant should have also recognized the, quote, foreseeable consequences and harm that might occur if that information was breached. So obviously it begs the question. This type of stuff is happening before a lot of countries and states around the world are mandating TikTok to have IDH verification. For example, France, they recently announced that they're going to be having their whole IDH verification ban across their entire country for kids under 15. And TikTok is a part of the social media ban. So that means that they are also going to be included in this IDH verification push, which means that everybody is going to be having to hand over their ID to TikTok if you want to use it in France and many other countries around the world, despite the fact that they have allegedly had this massive data leak. If they couldn't even keep your phone numbers and email addresses safe, what the hell do you think is going to happen to your ID information, your real name, your address? Some people might submit like their passport and stuff like that too. All of that sensitive information you're going to have to hand over to TikTok, which just had this massive data leak. This is not good, right? And when I was actually looking at some of the lawsuit documents, it looked even more concerning from everything that was written in here. Defendant, which they're referring to TikTok here, routinely collects, shares, uses, centralizes, and maintains sensitive and confidential private information about its customers and potential customers in the process of providing its services. The private information collected by defendants likewise includes or can include information such as names, names, email addresses, phone numbers, mailing addresses, dates of birth, gender information, language information, location information, and other sensitive identifying data. And that is without your ID. That is the type of information that they're collecting from you, even if you don't even give them an ID, just to use TikTok. They require its users to provide this information in connection while using its services. By obtaining, collecting, using, and deriving a benefit from the private information of plaintiffs and class members, defendant assumed legal and equitable duties to those individuals to protect and safeguard that private information from unauthorized access and intrusion, and to promptly notify users if a breach occurs. When consumers provide confidential information to defendant, they do so with the reasonable belief that defendant will take sufficient measures to safeguard their private information from foreseeable threats, including cyber attacks. And they even pull some quotes from the TikTok homepage, which are just absolutely ridiculous. But they say defendant is and was aware of the sensitive nature of the private information it collects, and it acknowledges the importance of data privacy. In the privacy notices on defendant's websites, defendant represents that your privacy is a top priority at TikTok. Whether we're introducing new features or building on the products you love, we continuously incorporate our privacy principles throughout our product lifecycle. Really? Yeah, okay. So yeah, this is some bullshit. Let's say for a second that the 2.4 billion record thing didn't even happen, that hackers is faking everything, right? TikTok is infamous for data tracking, location tracking, and everything like that. TikTok collects more data about you than almost any other social media app out there, probably more than any social media app out there. They've been exposed a million times for tracking your location, even when you're not even using the app. They track every single piece of your information when you are using the app as well. And anybody who is using TikTok has had their data harvested, no questions asked. I mean, I know a lot of social media companies out there do it, especially Meta. You guys know how much I don't like Meta, but TikTok is most likely the worst social media app in terms of how much data they collect from you. So once again, even for argument's sake, if we were to accept that this 2.4 billion data leak didn't happen, yeah, they are not giving a crap about your privacy. They harvest that shit on the daily. We're continually working to ensure strong protections are in place to help keep people safe. We empower our community with a range of tools to control and manage their online presence. Yeah, get out of here with that, man. Why would any of us trust you with our ID after this whole thing has happened? I don't trust any social media or pretty much anyone in general with my ID information anyways, but why would I trust TikTok, the company that is literally known and infamous for harvesting as much data as they possibly can? The privacy policy makes clear that defendant is and was aware of the need to safeguard the sensitive private information entrusted to it by consumers as part of providing its services. So on June 11th, that is when it allegedly happened, 2.4 billion TikTok user records have been leaked. The threat actors were able to connect to defendant's database on which plaintiffs and class members' unencrypted private information was stored and download and exfiltrate the information. The attackers gained access to the private information of over 2.4 billion users individuals as a record of the breach, including millions of American users. Once the data is exfiltrated from a network, its confidential nature is destroyed, and it should be, quote, assumed it'll be traded to other threat actors, sold, or held for a second/future extortion attempt. And even when companies pay for the return of data, attackers often leak or sell the data regardless because there's no way to verify copies of the data are destroyed. That is so true. I mean, it is like the age-old saying, right? Once you put something on the internet, it is going to be there forever. Data breaches are preventable. Somebody wrote, I mean, I can just sum this up right here. Data breaches are definitely going to be preventable if we don't hand over our ID or AI facial scam to all these shady ass companies. Obviously, if you guys have seen this channel before and you guys know how I feel about ID age verification, I don't recommend that you give your ID to anybody, right? Any social media company, right? But if you do insist on giving your ID to social media companies, TikTok should be the last company that you ever give your ID to. I mean, this company, like I said, is infamous for tracking your data and tracking everything about you. They are scum. You should not trust them at all. Defendant was well aware that the private information it collects, stores, uses, and derives benefits from is highly sensitive and of significant value to those who seek to use it for nefarious purposes. TikTok knows this. They are also a part of the data collection. They are the ones that want to collect data. They are no better than the hackers themselves who have collected and leaked this information. Now, this is a full 45-page document about the whole TikTok data leak. This is something that I can go over in depth in a live stream. I'll probably do a live stream tonight at 6 p.m. PST, so make sure you guys are subscribed to notifications so you don't miss that. But yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. TikTok has allegedly had a data leak of 2.4 billion records. So yeah, if you guys use TikTok, just make sure you're careful with what information you give them because they are not going to be keeping it safe anyways. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.